Hello again, MIDI guitar students and parents. Mr. K here for our weekly recap video. This week was spent predominantly on review of some of the stuff that we've done in the past couple weeks. This is just a side note of encouragement. We're kind of in that stretch of the year where there aren't very many breaks. There aren't any days off. There aren't any vacations. We don't have a break for at least another month until we get to Thanksgiving. And we are now past the point of our very beginnings of our guitar learning. What we're into now is where we really need to start to see some concerted daily practice or near daily practice to ensure that progress is being made. Otherwise, we'll slow down to a halt and then it'll get boring. And I always tell my students, we get good at the things that we do the most often. And I think that's certainly true here. What you might find, however, is as students don't practice, if they don't practice, what happens is that the exercises become more difficult because they might not know how they go. When they become more difficult, they become less fun. When they become less fun, they stop playing. When they stop playing, they become more difficult, and the cycle just kind of continues. What I find is when kids practice, the skills that we're learning get easier. If things are easier, then it's more fun. More fun means that there's more playing. More playing means things get easier, and so on and so forth, and the cycle can continue in that way. So this is a really important time for us to really be pushing some of the daily practice. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. It doesn't have to be a bunch, but we should see guitars getting out and being played on a daily basis, even if it is for 10 or 15 minutes. No one's expecting the kids to play for hours on end, but a little bit each day goes a long way. Anyhow, the things that we did work on today, first of all, up here, most of this has been already handed out to the kids, but if you need help finding it, it is in the Google Drive folder that I shared with you guys. In the MIDI for Kids book, page 19 is a song called Tough Break, and we played this one. It includes not only the E major chord, but also the E minor chord. What we worked on today was a strumming pattern where we plucked the 6th string and then strummed the rest of the strings. So bass, strum, pluck, strum. And it's called a rest stroke. If you see the thumbs coming off like this, that's an open stroke. We're not, or a free stroke. We're not doing that. We're going to rest it against the next string. So your kid can practice just playing like that. And then when we want to add in the strum of the chord, we're going to be gentle. Always looking for gentle. I am like a bird in the sky, and I can fly among the clouds very high when I am dreaming. When I am dreaming, I go on dreaming, and then I wake. Tough break, and so on and so forth. Right? That's probably about as close to what it should sound like. We want a gentle stroke, a gentle strum there. It shouldn't sound like, okay, if so, then we need to just kind of back off a wee bit. Okay, that E major, E minor chord, those are going to be kind of important for several different songs here. All right, we'll get out of that book and we'll move on to our first string E page that we've been working on. Now, what we have here, these are all exercises, all patterns that are just 3 notes. Some of them don't even use all 3 notes. They're the notes G, F sharp, and E. I'll show you those in order. I've got an E, an F sharp, and a G. All of them are played on the first string being the smallest one, furthest from the face. So for instance, this first one here will sound like this. easy pie. Number 2 will sound like this. Number 3, and I'll try to go through these kind of in order. Number 3 sounds like this. Number 4, here I go. Number 5 will sound like this. And number 6 will sound like this. One more, it's number 7. Alright, so I challenged the kids to get through not only 7, but through the first 2 pages up to number 14, which sounds like this. Alright, we're using all 3 of those notes. My practice strategy is thus. If I've got number 1 down perfectly, it sounds really great, and I think that I've got it, I'll put a check mark by it. Then I go on to number 2. I do the same thing with number 2 until I've got it really well. Put a check mark by number 2. I continue on until I'm done with my practice session. I wouldn't say go through 30 of them, but do as many as you'd like. The next day, come back to the ones that have 1 check mark by them. Play through those. If you've done really well on them, like they sound just as good as when you left them, put another check mark. If it doesn't sound very good, then keep on working on that one. Leave that second check mark off. The next day, come on back. Start with the ones that only have 1 check mark. If they sound as good as they ever did, then add another check mark. That way we're not spending all the time on the patterns or the phrases that already sound good. My challenge to the kids was to get through all the way through 14, but for added bonus, they also have 15 through 28. These ones include 8th notes, which are the paired notes. Like for instance, this number 18 here would sound like this. Oops, sorry. And number 19 would sound like this. We're kind of playing in a bluesy kind of riff there. Finally, in our Mini for Kids book, I believe it's on page 21 maybe, could be wrong here, we have a song called Flamenco Niño, or the Flamenco Child. It's after Changove. This one, what we're working on right now is just the chord patterns. It's this E chord and this F/E. When we play the E major chord, it's just as normal. When we play the F/E, if you'll take a look at my left hand up here on the fretboard, it slides forward 1 set of frets. And you get this funky sound. So Flamenco Niño sounds like this. 5, 6. 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6. 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we can get that and tough break, then we'll be ready to move on to some more chord changes and such, as well as our bass part, which is not too bad. It's a little funky, but I think these guys are going to pick it up really, really easily. So anyways, that's it for this week. Again, encourage your children to practice as much as possible. Once a day is perfect. I would say 10 to 15 minutes is fine. Any more is just icing on the cake. Couple things that you can do for your children. Make sure that their material that they have is kept in one place, whether it's your guitar case or in a folder or whatnot. I also encourage students to keep a practice journal. That could be as simple as having a notebook and writing down the day that you practiced and how much time you did, or it could be as complex as writing the day and the time that you practiced, plus all of the exercises, plus which ones went well, which ones went poorly. You could reflect on those, and anything in between. At minimum, maybe just keeping track of how much time and the what would be pretty helpful. If you ever have any questions, please let me know. I'm always here to help. Feel free to pass along these videos to anybody who might want to watch. I have heard from some parents that they said, "Wow, Mr. Koenig, these videos are awesome. I just wish they got more views." So encourage your children to watch these. I'll put it on my website as well. Until next week, happy practicing, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.